Hello and welcome to the BSR Grand Tour live on Apex Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Marco Bubner with Sam Kume on the cameras. And we are here for round 9 of the championship, the final round prior to the showdown. And we've still got some places to be decided, Marco. This is an absolutely crucial round of the championship. And I can see the positions moving around a little bit because the championship for those final few positions is very, very close at the moment.
Absolutely, and what a great track we are in tonight. It's Phillip Island, of course. It's a classic track for V8 supercars, but also for GT cars. They run Sport Series in Australia, and I'm absolutely happy to have the BSR Grand Tour here on the twisting and turning corners and elevation changes, I have to say, of this beautiful Australian track on, of course, the sea, the ocean. Right in front of us is going to be glorious, and qualifying is just about to end, so we will have the starting grid in a few seconds as the drivers are finishing their fast laps in this second.
Yeah, just completing their laps now. Max Wright coming across the line in the championship. Steve Lavelli leads the series with 602 points. He's confirmed in that showdown spot. So too should be Richard Warming, to be fair, with 566. Michael Abdoka has got 513 points. He should be okay as well. And then it gets interesting. Colin Robinson with 463. He's also the leader of the AM Championship. Then it's Jamie Ayres in 5th position. He moved up 4 positions from the last round into this one. And then Rafe Connor, Scott Malcolm dropped out of the showdown for the first time this season in the last round. Then it's Michael Gray and Anthony Jacobson with Richard Gabenku. Unfortunately, he's not here today, so he's going to rule himself out. But now we have got the grid for you, and it's Michael Abdoka on the pole position by half a second over Jamie Ayres in 2nd. Then Scott Malcolm in 3rd. Colin Robinson 4th. There's Max Wright in 5th position. Anthony Jacobson starts in 6th. Craig Cameron, good to see the new driver in the series, in 7th. And then behind that's Lee Deemer, Stuart McFadden, Richard Warmingham, Steve Lavelli, and Lane O'Connor. Not sure if those drivers are going to start the race. We have got a full formation, that Marco. Oh dear. But yeah, a little bit of a disappointing turnout, and I do hope those drivers do actually race today. Otherwise, it's going to be bit of a potentially dull affair, but you can see from the times, I think it's going to be really close between the likes of Ayres, Malcolm and Robinson, who, you know, all need the points to confirm their showdown spots.
Absolutely, and the fact that we have a long pace lap gives me the opportunity to give you the first useless fact of the night, and I've been studying.
God, I forgot.
I have been studying really hard, and I have to say that this is a proper island, and it is connected to the mainland just by a bridge. And the town closest to this bridge that connects Phillip Island to the Australian mainland is a town called Sanremo, and it's been founded by Italian immigrants, and that's why it has the same name as a very, very popular city in Italy called Sanremo, which is a small little town near Genoa. It's so famous because every year the Italian singing contest takes place there. So there's a bit of Italy and a lot I've heard from like Max Biaggi's and Valentino Rossi's accounts of the days when MotoGP, and still comes here, of course. A lot of very, very good Italian restaurants and Italian people live in the area. So I feel like this is just a little bit of a home track for me, as the cars are rolling. And on a more serious note, I have to say, you gotta be extremely careful of these corners, especially in the start. You go wide here, go onto the grass outside of that curb, and you are going straight through the grass and to this left-hander. And we've seen some huge pileups in the years, especially in V8 supercars, because once you're in that grass, it's extremely hard to stop. And when you are there, you basically are out of control, and you risk hitting the cars that are taking the left-hander back to the and that brings you to this other side of the track, and then to the hairpin and all the other corners. So you gotta be extremely careful there. And I think, Sam, all around the track, because there is no tarmac runoff areas here, basically all grass except for this hairpin here. So if you miss your corner, go a little bit wide, you are in for a long ride in the grass.
Yeah, absolutely. There's, like you said, there's a lot of corners like that, and I remember, of course, you always get the MotoGP round here, and it's always fantastic where you got deep braking down into those hairpins, and more often than not, you see a few incidents. Now, you gave us a really interesting statistic, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to tell you that former Prime Minister Bob Hawke set a world record for sculling 2.5 pints of beer in 11 seconds, and he credited that to the success of his political career. So, an interesting fact for you, and then a not so one. We are just approaching the end of the lap now, and yeah, Michael Docker from the lead. I don't really know about the slipstream effect around here, Mark. Do you think it's going to be particularly important around here? I don't think it is, to be honest.
No, the key is going to you need a good exit from the final corner, turn 11 and turn 12. Basically, they are long corners. The car is in a dynamic state a lot of the time. As you see right now, Evdoka pushing on the gas pedal. Also, he has to be careful because he doesn't want to run over the pace car, but I think that the race is going to start and we're going to get the green flag. Good start by Evdoka.
Yeah, he went super early, didn't he? And Evdoka gets away really well. Robinson's got ahead of Malcolm then, so that must have just been the jump off the line then. Yeah, it's helped him go up into P3. It's almost side by side, just behind, just ahead of Cameron and McFadden, who's already gone up one position as Stuart McFadden. He's not going to go up two. The driver who was so strong at Motegi, if it weren't for a couple of collisions, could have had a couple of really nice results. He's trying to make his way up through the field. It's really tight, just ahead as well, with Jacobson defending against Wright, and Wright down the inside. Jacobson a little bit offline. McFadden's going to go for it well as well, and this is one of the hairpins where you can get incidents so easy if you just lock a brake. And seemingly this time they are okay. Max Wright is going to be able to make that move on Anthony Jacobson, and Jacobson is wide, and as he spun the car not quite as though he may dip a wheel, but he has lost several positions in a matter of a couple of corners. And now side by side with Lee Deemer is that, and it's not a particularly wide circuit, but they have sorted themselves out.
Yeah, everybody behaving. Evdoka, we see in this series drivers are exceptionally good at taking the race start, especially the good drivers like Evdoka. They can get a huge jump on the rest of the field. Evdoka did just that now. Sometimes we can have the opposite, very slow starts like we had in Motegi, if I remember correctly, race 2, where a good bunch of the drivers got a black flag. Everything is clear now, I think, in this race 1. Evdoka has got a nice lead over Ayers and Robinson as they go through the first couple of corners that are named Duan and Southern Loop, of course, and now they are going to Stoner, going down to the Honda hairpin, and that's of course when trouble can happen. But now I see basically most of the drivers, Sam, already have a nice gap in front and behind them. Apart from a couple of battles, I think McFadden and Wright and Cameron and Deemer, because this is such a tough track. You need to know your lines. So easy to go, off the line and lose a lot of time. So the best drivers will come out on top today, especially with this small field. Even with the reverse, I think we're going to see Evdoka and the others have a real advantage tonight.
Yeah, I think so. It's a very difficult circuit, isn't it? And actually, McFadden really close onto the back of Wright. So those two at least staying very close up there. And McFadden, yeah, trying to make the maybe is going to be considerably faster, and this will give us a nice little indication of how difficult it is to overtake around this circuit. Because yeah, the driver ahead kind of just goes, centre of the circuit into these corners. A whole lot the attacking driver can do. And McFadden's off the circuit, he's on the grass, and is that going to leave him vulnerable from behind? No, he's not, but a driver who is vulnerable is Craig Cameron, who he's only just ahead of Lee Deemer, and Deemer is looking to the inside. It's been a good debut from Cameron so far, but Deemer is just too quick, and the number 1 car will move up into 7th position, the Season 1 champion. And that was a comfortable move down into turn 1.
Good move there, and speaking of that grass on the outside, this corner here where these guys are is called Siberia, and there is a myth that the name of the corner is that because if you go wide you end up in Siberia. I don't know how true that is.
Oh, so Cameron off the circuit.
Well, that wasn't Siberia, that was the Honda corner, but still the point remains. If you go on the grass, you go extremely wide here, and now a lot of work to do for Cameron to get back to Dimmer and the guys in front of him. Big mistake there.
So is Siberia the next hairpin?
No, Siberia is the corner before the hairpin. So they say if you go wide there, you end up in Siberia because of the grass, basically.
Yes.
I don't know how much of truth is there that the name of the corner is that because of that, myth. But it's a fun way to remember that corner, because if you go wide, you end up in Russia, and being in Australia, that's a bit far away. As McFadden is half a second in front of Wright. I think the lone Ferrari on the grid, beautiful black CQR Ferrari. I love that car, with Wright right behind him in the red Mercedes. You see, trying to close the gap, even though McFadden has his personal best in this fourth lap. Of course, the format, like always, three races, two 20-minute races, with the reverse grid for the second one, and then the final results for race 2 will determine the grid for race 3. That's going to be 35 minutes with a pit stop. So, got a replay here. That was, I think, Cameron as well. Losing the car again and going for a spin. Nobody behind him, so he can get it back on the track and stay hopefully on the lead lap and be eligible, for that reverse we were talking about for race 2.
Yes, and with such a small grid out there, 9 drivers, it's likely that he might be on pole position. I think the smallest reverse grid we have is something like 8, so he'd be unlucky not to be on pole position. So Craig, just keep on going out there, get 8 results in, and maybe gain a little bit of confidence going into race 2. Out in the lead though, Michael Abdoka, 3 seconds ahead. He's storming away from the rest of the field. He's some 9/10 a lap faster currently than Jamie Ayres in second. He's comfortably ahead of Colin Robinson, over 2 seconds ahead of Robinson. And then behind that, it's Malcolm, who's struggled to really come back at Robinson. But really, those two just need to make sure that they clock up the necessary points. And of course, we do have the AM Championship as well, Marco. And Robinson and Malcolm are the leading two in that. Robinson just ahead at the moment, but it is catchable for Malcolm in the 3 final rounds after this and this round. So yes, it's certainly a battle to look out for, because these two seem to always be near each other on circuit.
Yeah, hopefully we don't send any negative vibes towards Scott, our good friend, had a little bit of a tough moment at Motegi while we were on board with him. But yeah, he's a fast driver, so is his opponent, so it's going to be a great battle for the AM Championship. Now sitting in 4th position, you see that beautiful Mercedes there. I have to say, as always, a lot of Mercs on the field. That's how they call them in this part of the world, especially when they were a part of the V8 Supercar Championship like 3-4 years ago. The Mercedes also had the distinct engine sound, and still they have it in the GT3 right now with this beautiful AMG. I love the engine note in this car, and all the cars, especially the Audi. I think they make a great noise. Malcolm now on the start finish line, 26.5, so Robinson is putting just a little tenth of a second faster than him, so he's building that gap, and McFadden behind him trying to close it and close that gap to Malcolm and maybe go for a move and try to get that 4th position, but they are 3, 4 and 5 extremely close in this 7th minute out of 20 for this first race.
Yeah, I was about to say, because the noise of the Mercedes and the Ferrari are about to be brought together, because I think it's quite inevitable that Stuart McFadden's going to catch up any lap now, because on that last lap he was 4/10 faster, 1.3 seconds behind, and we've still got some 7 laps or 8 laps to go in this event. So McFadden looking very strong, could still recover a podium out of this one. I don't know why he didn't do qualifying. If only he did, but at least for race 2 he's going to be very dangerous. And we saw last time out at Motegi, Marco, of course, Stuart was pretty firm in his defence, let's say. He was not going to give anyone a chance, and in the end that didn't really help him out in the end, because He just had a couple of collisions. Maybe a couple were his fault, a couple weren't his fault, and that really cost him in the end. But around a difficult to overtake circuit like this, it's going to be narrow, and maybe he won't be the fastest driver in that second race, but if he can get track position, it's going to be very difficult to beat.
Man, as an oval driver, I absolutely love the ways McFadden races, especially here in the GT. In the Grand Tour series, I love the hard defense, especially when it's between the rules. So not going away from what the rule book says. And I have to say this Ferrari is really helping him because it's a bit wide. You see there, especially in this great shot we have. So I mean, you are right. This is a bike track, and like all the bike tracks, passing for race cars it's going to be tough. If we had a race at Mugello, it would be absolutely the same. I've been to many races at the Mugello circuit, car racing there, and you don't expect overtakes, but you can expect some great defending by the drivers, and he's doing this. Of course, now we will have to be in the opposite situation, trying to make the move on another driver. As we see Jacobson, I think, going for a ride there at MG, the hairpin here, and losing a bit of time. Let's get the replay. Went a bit wide, touching the curb on the inside, and more wide.
Yeah, he kind of lost the rear on entry, didn't he? Kind of had to correct it, and a good punishment out there with the grass. It wasn't race over, of course, but he did lose quite a lot of time. It's lost him a position against Lee Dima, who I think had a little bit of an off earlier on. And Dima, I might be able to catch up to right. Last lap he was half a second faster, but he's 4 seconds behind currently, so he needs to pick it up a little bit, does Lee Dima, if he's going to catch and pass the 85 car. Stuart McFadden had a bit of a poor lap that time, had the same lap time as Scott Malcolm. It's just halted his progress a little bit, still 1.25 seconds difference. And we've already spoken about quite a bit the difficulty of overtaking around this circuit, but hopefully we're going to have a 3-way battle because Robinson's just had a little bit of a mistake. And now these 3 drivers separated by less than 2 seconds.
Yeah, and in the lap before this, McFadden was only 1/10 of a second faster of Malcolm, so the lap times are really going to they are really leveling out, and McFadden, you're right, is not making the huge progress we were maybe expecting over Malcolm, even though he's gaining. Last lap 26.29 for both of these guys, and Malcolm is using that little bit of a slipstream that Robinson is giving him, even though the only place where you can realistically use the slipstream is right here on the front stretch, and then you have to use it. Basically, it's not going in your favor because you are trying to get as much cleaner as possible. These are GT cars, so it's not like a Formula car, but still you want to have that clean air, and the clean air is of course vital. So honestly, Malcolm is closing in on Robinson, so we might see an attempt. We know Malcolm is always very careful in everything he does on the track, and Robinson is wide.
Wow, so that's a really poor kind of lap for Colin Robinson, because Malcolm, Robinson made a little bit of a mistake at this corner, lost him about half a second on that last lap, but Malcolm continued to close in from about 9/10 of a second to 3/10 of a second through the preceding corners. And then, a mistake from Robinson, and he's lost himself 2 positions, and now Stuart McFadden, who started this race in last position, well, the podium's looking really possible for him now. And also an important maybe turn in the AM Championship. We know that it's going to be close between Malcolm and Robinson. And Malcolm kind of needs all the points he can get, but here comes McFadden on his tail, trying to take a little bit of curb, taking a slightly alternative line now. That Ferrari power roaring down the front stretch, but going into turn 1, costs not really a braking zone, and he's not going to be able to force the move. He can maybe go for a move into 2, but you've got to be very brave, and Malcolm defends really well. It hasn't affected his pace too much, and that was just really good defense, wasn't it, from Malcolm? And that was the defense I was talking about earlier on, how if you put your car in the center of the circuit, there's not a whole lot that the attacking driver can do.
Yeah, the attacking driver can only force a move down here at the hairpin. Let's see if McFadden goes for it. He's going for it, and he makes the move. No, they
Oh,
both got wide. They saved the car, and I think that McFadden let Malcolm by as a way to say sorry, I think, after that contact there.
well, that's very gentlemanly from Stuart. Really good sportsmanship there, because I think there wasn't a whole lot he necessarily did wrong. He maybe pushed Malcolm off a little bit, but yeah, it wasn't too bad from Stuart. So really good to see his gentlemanly racing. And maybe Malcolm will be a little bit kinder next time, although Robinson's now got himself back into this battle. You can see the contrary lines those two take, and it means that McLaren can get a much better run coming out of the penultimate corner. Through the final corner they go, and he's a lot closer this time. Malcolm almost running a little bit wider there, but I think he's quite happy with that line. Gets him a nice little boost coming out of that final corner and heading down into turn 1 once again. McLaren's not nearly close enough going into turn 1, but will it be through 2 where he's considerably faster going into than Malcolm, and Malcolm once again fends him off very easily.
Yeah, Malcolm braking very, very hard here on the left-hander. We saw, I think we're going to, I'm expecting a much better exit from McFadden. That is going to happen. We'll see if he tries again a move here at the Honda hairpin on the inside. No, he doesn't. And maybe because he knew that Malcolm was maybe expecting that. A previous lap, I thought both cars were going to head into the fence there on the left side. But you see, Sam, McFadden is trying to keep Malcolm on the fence, and now McFadden goes for a move on the outside. He's going to have the inside in the next corner, but now he has to hang on the outside. Great defending by Malcolm there.
Oh, superb, wasn't it? It was safe for Malcolm, but again, McFadden is within diving range, and he nearly goes for a splash there. Not quite. And again, that contrary lines through that corner, but he can't really do enough. He's not getting the momentum coming out of that final corner. Malcolm just seems a little bit more confident through that final corner. You can see McFadden just dropping a car length through the final turn, and he's nowhere near close enough to turn 1. Every lap we see these two going into turn 2, just very, very happy as Malcolm to take that inside line. I think that might just be his normal racing line, and yeah, it's really working well for him at the moment. Robinson clearly slower than these guys. He's dropped off despite them battling with each other, and actually, yeah, not too far. Well, I guess Maxwell is another 6 seconds down the road despite setting equal lap times. Once again, Malcolm having to go defensive into the hairpin. Around the outside goes Stuart McFadden, and there's not a whole long stretch going into this next corner. Malcolm is doing everything he needs to with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, basically in that second corner, the southern loop, Malcolm is much slower than McFadden. That's why McFadden is able to create this huge run going into the hairpin, and then basically forces Malcolm to defend for the rest of the lap. But so far so good for the Mercedes there, and he's holding McFadden behind him. So good for him, but he has to be careful, because if McFadden gets an even better run than what he's having in his last few laps, he is going to get the moved on down there at the hairpin, I think.
Yeah, it's just this final corner. It's frustrating to watch, because you can see how much the gap extends, and that's the one corner where McFadden's struggling. But yeah, I think you're right. If he can just keep the pressure on Scott Malcolm. Of course, we saw in the World Championship Grand Prix series earlier on this season, Mitchell de Jong making the move on Gregor Hutu down into that hairpin, and you can see what Michael was talking about with Malcolm visibly losing time through that turn 2. But this time, McFadden's not quite as close. He did get a better run, but from this far back down such a narrow circuit, he's not going to stand a chance, McFadden. He's still looking to the inside, though. Not quite there.
Gonna have the inside Malcolm in this corner, and of course that's the preferred line. And coming out of this Siberia corner here, of course, it's not a straight line, so you can get away with getting a compromised exit there. And of course, it's important that you are able to defend going down to Lucky Heights and the MG corner now after the here on the downhill corner. So Good for Malcolm, great defending there, is a bit wide, and maybe McFadden is trying for a different line, let's see.
That was smart for Malcolm in the end, just to maybe stop him a little bit. But McFadden still got a good run, and he's on the inside going to the final corner. Malcolm's probably got the ideal line just on the outside, but this time McFadden is that much closer to him. And in the toe, he'll drag himself closer, going into turn 1, where he's been so strong in this race, but he's not going to dive down the inside. There's just not enough of a braking zone. And Malcolm not letting him through, almost opening the door for Stewart there to just nip through. Malcolm taking a good line, and this time McFadden's further back than he's been on previous laps. But going into the hairpin, he may still stand a chance. He's running out of laps to get the job done, Stuart McFadden. It looks like he's running out of ideas.
Yeah, he is, and he's going maybe, hopefully this will not be a desperate move from McFadden there, because we know... Oh, great move there on the inside. Now he has the outside here. Let's see what Malcolm does. He's lots in behind, now side by side. And Malcolm is going to be careful. He has the outside here, and great move by McFadden. I was not expecting, Sam, a move there.
No, absolutely not. I don't know if there was a little bit of contact involved, but actually, I think just coming across the line, Michael Docker, he just about got that final lap in. Sorry, that just saw the race counter go down to 0, but no, they have got another lap in by a matter of seconds. But I don't know if we could just see that replay, the replay of the overtake once again, because Malcolm didn't seem too pleased afterwards. I wonder if there was maybe a little bit of a nudge from McFadden just to maybe put him offline. No, it was completely fair. Just a bit of a slide from McFadden. Slide from Malcolm. And maybe he wasn't particularly pleased with this move then from McFadden. I think that was pretty much fair enough. It was good driving from the pad that McFadden just about left enough space on the inside, but could still carry a lot of speed through that corner.
Fantastic driving by both of these guys, and now McFadden is clearly clearing the Mercedes in 4th position, and as we see Cameron and right on camera right now, great battle between these two guys, and I think that maybe Robinson can have a go at Malcolm in this final lap, although I don't think he will be able to get the move done, but you know, I'm known for my wrong predictions most of the time, so we'll see, as Michael Evdoka is going to win the race.
Yeah, brilliant drive for Michael Evdoka, and he's won the race one here at Phillip Island, and by quite a margin, 15 seconds across the line. And he might be starting from the back of the pack for race 2, but would not bet against him, perhaps scoring a triple today. Malcolm has run out of fuel, and he's going to be vulnerable from Dima across the line. I don't know where the line is. I think it might be quite far down the road. And yes, he's still got a 20th the lap to go, so he's got a while to get down here. And Scott Malcolm, how unlucky is this for him? Anthony Jacobson is just going to pass him on the line. Malcolm was not far behind on the line, and he has now finished, so he'll stay ahead of Cameron and Wright comfortably. Wright clearly just falling to the back of the field, I think, to maybe get the reverse grid pole. He'll be hoping that they don't get an 8-car reverse, which I think is possible in this series. And yet they have now finished, and we can take you through the results. Michael Evdoka takes the race victory. How comfortable was it in the end? 14.7 seconds is the answer, ahead of Jamie Ayres. Quiet race, but very solid one from the front row of the grid. Stuart McFadden, what a rise through the field for him. 9th to 3rd, with Colin Robinson finishing in 4th. Then 5th was Lee Dima. He did well to gain some positions, with Anthony Jacobson in 6th. Scott Malcolm, well, that's really hurt his championship hopes. He ends up in 7th after running out of fuel at the end. Craig Cameron finishes in 8th, and Max Wright just dropping to the back of the field to give himself the best chance in the reverse grid for race 2. And yeah, Sam, I think we have that wheel.
Yeah, we got the wheel, and looking at the grid size tonight, I think it's pretty good odds for a full reverse. But let's see. Yeah, I think the smallest one is 6, and It is 6, so not full reverse.
Oh wow. Okay, I was really hoping it was going to be 8 just to... I have nothing against Max, right? But, you know, that tactic, I wish they'd gone against him. But, yeah, top 6. Wow, Scott Malcolm's unlucky, isn't he? Yeah, 7th. And he ran out of fuel, otherwise he may have been on pole position. Anthony Jacobson will be on pole position. That could be exciting with Lee Deemer in 2nd. Colin Robinson, he could be a big threat in 3rd. With Stuart McFadden just behind, then it's Jamie Ayres and Michael Abdoka will be starting in 6th position. We'll be back to put with you in about 15 minutes time for race 2 of the evening in the BSR Grand Tour. Richard Warmingham. Currently, Evdoka's just a little bit ahead of him. Warmingham does take that lead, and it's going to be awkward for these final few corners. Warmingham floors it. He's away quick. Evdoka actually gets a pretty good run, but he's not going to be able to challenge across the start-finish line just behind Steve Lavelli. Under pressure from Stuart McFadden already, but it's Warmingham away well from the pole position. Evdoka challenging into turn 1, and Lavelli having to go defensive against McFadden. McFadden looking to the inside. Could there be contact between these two? Not quite, but he's going to have to go defensive once again. Ayres just watching, just behind. Jamie Ayres could not quite take that. Stuart McFadden nearly took third position at the start of the race, but they're losing each other a lot of time now. And the top three pulling away up ahead. Ayres is just concentrated on trying to make this move. He's gone to the outside, maybe came to a little bit of a dummy to the inside. Not quite. McFadden couldn't shove him off the circuit though, and round the outside goes Ayres. He just wants the cutback now, but they get on the power at a similar time. Slightly better traction there for Jamie Ayres, and McFadden is squeezing him right to the wall. That was good defense from Stuart McFadden. Ayres to the outside gain as the track narrows down the hill they go. A little bit deep on the brakes perhaps as McFadden, but there's not too much you can do on the exit of this corner because you're straight into the next complex. It's very much single file here, but Ayres goes into the back of McFadden ever so slightly, but that was nice defense from McFadden.
Quick glance at the front of that Mercedes, looks okay, as I think that is a dive bomb there. We see Cullinan on the inside of Malcolm. BMW against Mercedes, and he makes the move.
Another one coming up, Colin Robinson, and here we go side by side. McFadden on the outside, Ayres on the inside. It's going to be switched around though this time. Ayres has got to try to just hold it round the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next one, but can he just stay level? Yes, he can, Stuart McFadden. That is brilliant driving there to just get his nose ahead, and he's going to have the inside as well into this hairpin. This is the great racing you can get around Motegi. Can he just push Ayres off? He tries to, and they make contact. That could have been a whole lot worse. Ayres may still even have the inside for the hairpin, but he really got his run compromised by that move from McFadden. Evdoka in the slipstream, just watching behind as the other XVR driver of Steve Lavelli. Evdoka will look to the inside, and he's gonna maybe have his nose cut off a little bit. Warmingham leaves too much space, and Evdoka is gonna have the inside for this next corner. No, he's not. The run from Warmingham was just about good enough. He's going to have to go defensive once again here. Evdoka flashing his lights, and he's gone to the inside here. Warmingham round the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next one, and he almost runs off the circuit now. Evdoka side by side. He's going to have the inside for the next corner, and that should be job done for Michael Evdoka. That's a perfect move. Really driving well there, Michael, and he's into the race lead.
Everybody has joined this fight for 4th place, and I think the sooner Ayres can pass McFadden, the better for him, because otherwise these guys will go to town and try to make moves left and right. Great defending there, once again, almost 3 wide going to the hairpin now.
Oh, Ayres nearly into the back of him. I think that Ferrari has a nice little bit of straight line speed, doesn't it, which just allows him to fend off any attack. That is a surprise though from Ayres, and he's trying to go for it at a corner that you would not dream of doing it, and it's going to leave him vulnerable now to Lane O'Connor. He's trying to move through. Cullinan nearly loses it in the background. Malcolm as well. Robinson trying to get involved. For now, it seems like McFadden's going to be fine. O'Connor to the inside of Jamie Ayres. The two Mercedes side by side, and they've made contact, and Ayres has lost 2 positions in a couple of corners. Yeah, the amount of cones dispatched there. Oh dear. Oh, down the inside. Oh wow, that was a nice attack from Ayres, and it's put Robinson off. That was brilliant from Jamie Ayres. That was a really nice little tactic to just glance to the inside, and he's got the power through this turn 6, and he's going to be able to pull ahead.
You see, Ayres is very, very close, but he's a little bit scared, I think, because it might happen that O'Connor car can glitch.
Inside of him.
Inside, yeah. That's a way to make a pass.
Deliberate, was it?
Oh man, he went straight through him and got the. Maybe that was the only way somebody could pass McFadden tonight, because he's making that Ferrari very, very large. Let's see a replay.
This must have been a mistake. Yeah, that was so a mistake. That was not a deliberate move. McFadden, though, could get pushed off a little bit.
Probably will not hit you, as Cullinan goes once again very wide there at the final corner, but I think he got a bit scared, because you see this car in the rearview mirror. It's suddenly so big. As he goes for a move on turn 1, he says, you are... Oh, the touch!
Ayres goes through. Ambitious move from a long way back into turn 1, and he was a long way back. Yeah, it's very clumsy there from Stuart. Yeah, it wasn't even on the brakes, was it? He was just a bit too eager to get on the throttle. He's been bang on. Malcolm, just watching this, he's not going to get involved in any unnecessary collisions. That's been his tactic for the entire season. And how has that profited him, Marco?
I had talked to him after last week's BSR, this week's, I say, MX5 race!
No! Come on!
No!
Oh!
Oh, man.
We're so sorry. But here we go. Michael Evdoka going to come round the final few corners here at Motegi, and he's going to take another race victory. He's had a real upturn in pace these past few weeks, and here he comes, Michael Evdoka, to take race 1 here at Motegi. And what a good drive that was from him. So James Underhill round the final chicane now. Scott Malcolm along with him. They haven't gone too early here. When will he go? James Underhill from the pole position, and away we go for race 2 of the evening. It's not a great start, no. So they haven't gone. They all got on the brakes, and
Oh,
they
man.
have gone. That was chaos, and Underhill has gotten a horrendous start. Dima also got a poor start. It's Malcolm leading the race, but I wonder if that's going to be a jump start for him. There could be contact,
there's
and there
contact.
is contact. The XBR drove around. Ayres was in there as well, but it's Malcolm in the lead with Robinson right on his tail. McFadden perhaps sees a potential race victory. Stuart McFadden down the inside of Colin Robinson, and they go into turn 5 now, and he has got that position.
Very surprised that there was nothing major because, you know,
Change for the lead, sorry.
change for the lead. Yeah, McFadden is in the lead.
He's now up into 5th position, up 5 places himself. Underhill is now down 6. What a chaotic first lap this is, and Dima's gone for the move, and that's a great move from Lee Dima on Colin Robinson.
And Malcolm went straight for the box, so he has a penalty.
And yeah, that's put his showdown chances maybe in a bit of jeopardy.
Synchronized spinning there. No contact, I think, between the two guys. Going to be very defensive here on the inside. Let's see what Evdoka has in store for him.
Going defensive straight away with Stuart McFadden. You can just about muscle your way around the outside here, and Evdoka's going to try to do it. He's going round the outside here, and that's going to be an awesome move from Evdoka. McFadden tries to force him off, and now it's going to be side by side going into this next section of course. If McFadden can just hang it round the outside, he's going to have a chance. Evdoka trying to stay in there, but just cutting him off is McFadden. Now heading down this pit straight, and I'm sure McFadden will go right to the inside, right to the pit wall. Evdoka looks to the inside. He cannot find a way through.
To McFadden, and there Ayres is flashing his lights to Evdoka as they go once again back to the double left-hander here that will bring them under the bridge for the first time of the 2 times they get under the bridge.
Oh, he's going to crash.
Hard hit for Evdoka.
Like it's going to be in the corner of the car.
He hit that ball at home.
Wasn't it?
Look at that, he went on the grass. Lost the drive a little bit even on the sand, and that was a very, very, very hard hit. And he's holding the wheel, you see on the right side, to go straight.
So he's right on the tail of Lee Dima. He's going to not qualify for the showdown. Either of these drivers, and Josh Thompson is going to look to the inside. Lee Dima not putting up much of a fight, and Thompson moves up into the top 3 positions. He was quite comfortable in the lead, seemingly had the pace to fend off his rival. But now this is super, super close. This is where McFadden hit Lane O'Connor in the last race, and look at Thompson. He's gaining. Not going to be in with a chance into turn 1, but someone who does fancy his chances is James. And now Thompson's going to go through 1. He's going to go through 2 maybe. This would be an incredible overtake. Josh Thompson takes the lead of the race from absolutely nowhere, and it's only taken him a handful of laps to go from the back of the grid to the front of the grid. And whilst these two carry on fighting once against one another, and there's going to be contact. Ayres is round. Dima moves up a position. Thompson in the lead.
Using the 2 dueling drivers as a pick basically, and getting into the corner in 3rd position and getting out of it in 1st position, as we see more contact there. I think that was Max Wright in his red car.
Contact.
Stevens, save it. Oh man, in the gravel, 3 wide there, wasn't going to work, as McFadden is defending now from Lavalli, and now he's blinking.
Yeah, we haven't talked too much about Lavelli, and actually this time McFadden not defending. That's very uncharacteristic of him today.
Evdoka extremely close to McFadden there. He had to lift, otherwise there would have been contact. Lavelli is off. Lavelli had a very, very bad corner.
Oh, he's off again, and he's hit the wall. Well, he looked so strong, didn't he? And just lost it early on there. Maybe overheated the tyres a little bit. I just got on the grass, and it's clumsy there, similar to what Evdoka did, but with far worse consequences.
Let's see how will McFadden defend, of course, like he always does, all on the inside. Great run from Evdoka.
This is a repeat of the situation they had earlier on in the race, but Evdoka that time didn't feel the confidence to stick it on the inside. To be fair, McFadden was super late on the brakes, and that's compromised his run coming out of the final corner. And Evdoka sees a gap down the inside, but McFadden was not going to give him that gap. And Evdoka growing a little bit frustrated, and he's taking a slightly surprising line down into turn 1. This was the last lap of the race. Dima trying to go for a move, and Evdoka's a little bit late in covering off, almost blocking off the Mercedes, and he might run into the side of McFadden. He has done. McFadden gets back the right way, but he's lost 2 positions straight away there. He might lose 4. Evdoka into 2nd place.
I mean, you are right. It was pretty clear from his body language that he was getting restless. And now a dive bomb from Javier, and somebody's around. Yeah, it's Dimmer. Dimmer in the grass.
Yeah, Josh Thompson coming around the final complex of corners now. In that McLaren, he's not going to challenge the championship now, but Josh Thompson crosses the line to win at Motegi. Race 2 of the evening goes his way. Here we go. Evdoka 2nd, Thompson 1st. Gonna round the final corner for race 3 of the evening, and away we go. Josh Thompson away really well in Evdoka. I thought he might have a good launch. It hasn't turned out that way because Ayres is pressurizing him into turn 1, but not quite. Ayres just has to back up.
At night, you have to maybe have a bit of a adjustment on braking points, etc. As we see, Evdoka very, very aggressive and good defending from Thompson on the inside as Wormingham tries to attack Robinson, and I think he will be successful in this double right-hander under the bridge. The top 3 are extremely close, and I really want to see Evdoka do well in this race, and I want to see what his pace is.
Oh, he's hit him! That
man.
was very clumsy from Jamie Ayres, but Evdoka's kind of got away with it. He's going to lose out to Robinson and Dima. We've seen a lot of contact there, and Ayres is apologising a lot there profusely.
You think that flashing the lights is code for apologizing?
Yesterday in the Euro V8, and that was very different equipment, very different circuit, and that was warming up. Oh dear. So many drivers have done that, Marco. Getting on the grass, and it's just, guys, stay within the white lines because it's suicide going up there. Might be able to extract a little bit more pace from it, just because I think he's got a little bit of damage on that car, and because we saw earlier on.
Extremely fast stop.
Yeah, really
5
quick.
seconds. 4.5 seconds. Hopefully put enough fuel in the car.
Curveball coming in. On that last lap, on his first fast lap, Michael Evdoka 46.86. Josh Thompson 47.61. That's almost a second difference. And here comes Wormingham, actually really close on Thompson. And we look to the inside here. Richard Wormingham, that's been as close as he's been.
It's an 8-second stop for Richard Wormingham. Neck and neck for the position here, and Wormingham is ahead.
They matched each other through sectors 4 and 5, and Josh Thompson's still stationary. He's still stationary. It's 11-second stop, and that's surely going to be enough for Richard Wormingham to take the lead of the race. Josh Thompson might even be behind Michael Evdoka. He is. He's down into P3, and he's got all the work to do now. I don't know if we could just ride on board with him maybe for half a lap or so. Just see if he's lifting and coasting, because I'm surprised by this downturn in pace, because you remember on his first full lap,
he's in.
Wormingham rounding the final few corners now. Here he comes, Richard Wormingham, to take race 3 here at Motegi. Fantastic drive from him.
Yeah, the Mac is not good. Let's just clear that up. I'm just going to clear this up now. It's the worst GT3 on the grid, by a mile. The Merc drove up to me by about 4/10 on the straight. The Audi has more mechanical grip. It's just an absolute weapon of a car. I was having to try so hard just to keep it on the track.
Then we'll be back with us for that Phillip Island round, the final round before the showdown. Welcome back to the BSR Grand Tour here at Phillip Island. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me is Michael Barbier and Sam Kumo streaming on Apex Racing TV, and we're here for race 2 of the evening after a race 1 that was dominated by Michael Evdoka. This race 2 is not going to be quite so simple, is it, Marco? Because we've got a reverse grid. Evdoka will be starting in 6th position. He's got some quick drivers ahead of him. Also got Josh Thompson, which is great to see in the race as well, starting in 9th. So yeah, should be interesting to see how those drivers make their way up through the pack, considering how narrow and tight and twisty this circuit is.
Yeah, good to see Josh back. Of course, he is doing the McLaren Shadow project, but also is very committed to this series. And so it's nice to have him for race 2 and race 3. Like we said many times this season, it's important to get a good result in this race, because this will determine the starting grid for race 3, and of course Josh Thompson in his brand new McLaren as the field is rolling, and we can expect another very interesting pace lap. But apart from that, it's going to be a nice race, of course, with the reverse. Even it's a bit smaller than what we expected. 6 cars is 2/3 of the field. Mathematics has never been my strong point. But yeah, so 2/3 of the field have reversed, and we've got Thompson is a wild card, let's be honest. So we know he's fast, we know he can make the moves, we know he doesn't like the car, but still at Motegi in race 2 he was absolutely fantastic. So, but like you said, he will have to deal with a very narrow racetrack, and he's always going to put on a show for us, and he will put on a show today as well. He has to be extremely careful, of course, because of the nature of this twisty racetrack.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not going to be many more tracks to go from the back of the grid to making your way up the field. Of course, Stuart McFadden, who starts this race in 4th place, he did go from 9th to 3rd in race 1. So, you know, and Josh Thompson, I think his racecraft, as we saw at Motegi, is quite exceptional, and really is a level above everyone else in this series, just because maybe of his experience in these cars, because World GT driver as well. And of course the grid for you is Anthony Jacobson starting on pole position with Lee Diemer on the front row. And then it's Colin Robinson in 3rd, Stuart McFadden 4th. He should be very strong. Jamie Ayres starts in 5th with Michael Evdoka in 6th. Those three in particular are probably the favourites for this race, along with Josh Thompson. And it's Scott Malcolm starting in 7th, Max Wright in 8th, and Josh Thompson. What can he do from 9th position? Marco, he's going to win.
My prediction is Michael Evdoka from 6th position.
Oh, okay. Could we see another triple? Would be the 3rd driver to have done it after Thompson at Belle Isle and Gafenki, Anwar Smith at Indianapolis.
Yep.
Yes. Here we go. Jacobson from the pole position. The pace car is in, and Jacobson goes. Got a nice little launch against Lee Diemer, who drops back in 2nd position. I think Stuart McFadden's already up into 3rd position. What a great start that is for him, and he can go charge down the drivers ahead. It's all getting a little bit clustered just behind. Colin Robinson under a bit of pressure from Jamie Ayres down the inside, and this is important for Ayres because he needs to try to pull away, and Evdoka actually has gone down to the back of the field, so something must happen to Evdoka. So maybe Marco's pick as another commentator, guys. Jamie Ayres round the outside, and has actually made that move on Colin Robinson. So Robinson down 2 positions already, and it's all getting very close down into the hairpin, and down the inside is Anthony Jacobson. Diemer trying to make the move. Also getting involved is Stuart McFadden, who might gain a position up into 2nd position, but no, Lee Diemer hangs on down the inside through this next section of corners. This is where McFadden made a move on Max Wright in the last race, trying to make the move here. Lee Diemer trying to stick it out, but no, he can't, and McFadden's moved up into 2nd position, and that's a perfect start for him. Oh, Diemer's coming back down the inside. It's so close amongst all these drivers. There's yeah, that you can just see that complete chain. Anthony Jacobson arguably holding them up a little bit, and here comes Jamie Ayres now back on the inside of Lee Diemer. already made up position is Ez, and he's off the track onto the gravel, and that could lose him a position, and he's going to hit into the Mercedes, and oh dear, that's so unfortunate for Max Wright, and that was very dangerous there. And McFadden's into the lead, sorry. McFadden has taken the lead.
So Wright is out of the race, and that is going to... Oh, look at that, 3 wide going into the second corner. Thompson and Evdoka. And Scott Markov now is in P8. Bad luck for Wright, of course. He is out of contention and will start last in the final race of the day. Let's watch a replay. He went very, very wide. Sorry, Ayers went wide. I have to be precise here. And then he jumped there on the grass. There was a bump there. Went back on the track, and Max Wright was wrong place, wrong time, I have to say. Very, very bad luck for the number 85 car.
McFadden's, Jacobson's dropped down into 3rd position now. So what a strong race this is turning into for Stuart McFadden. Dima in 2nd, Jacobson 3rd. What's happened to Ez? Ez has lost a couple of positions then, so Jamie Ez has had an issue on this lap, must have had an off or something. Oh, sorry, was that Ez? Sorry, that was Ez who spun round. I'm being such an idiot, aren't I? Surprising, because, you know, he's got such a lot of damage on that car. He could still maybe fight for a good position, and Docker's off the track as well. Thompson's struggling. He's dropping off the back of the field.
Yeah, Evdoka, I don't know what happened to him at the start. He fell back behind everyone, then he got moved on Thompson, and now he's back into P6. Let's watch a replay here. This is Michael Evdoka, losing a lot of time at the start, and now I think we'll have yeah, you see Sammy basically, like, he lifted when the green flag came out. Everybody went past him.
I don't know if he's just trying to make it difficult for himself. Oh, that's getting a bit awkward. Airs off the circuit again, and it's also side by side now. Anthony Jacobson trying to defend against Colin Robinson. Robinson round the outside in this one. This is the line that the drivers really like. And there you go, they've made the move, and Evdoka now going down the inside. Evdoka still feels as though he can win this race, and he's going to try to move on Colin Robinson off the circuit. In the background was Jacobson. How this one has turned very, very sour for him after leading the race going on to lap 2. Going on to lap 4, he's going to be down into 6th position and could lose more positions very soon. Josh Thompson now down the inside, but Evdoka's really close onto the back of Robinson, and he has to make this move extremely quickly, and Robinson, I think, is just going to give it to him.
I'm maybe seeing some damage on the front of Evdoka's car as he completes the move for P3. Oh, wow. A bit on the inside curve there, not the ideal line, and now Robinson is on the outside, all over him.
Oh, big crash.
Thompson and Jacobson are in the grass. Oh, bad crash there. There's one car in the tire wall. Let's check the replay.
Oh, it's yeah. That's why you don't see that much GT racing around Phillip Island, because the track is so narrow that those circumstances can occur. And maybe Thompson just running out a little bit too wide, and he has disconnected from the session. Hopefully he'll be back for race 3, but you could clearly see he wasn't happy out there, really struggling with the paces. He's struggling with that McLaren, poor pace, and yeah, not good for him whatsoever.
I can say that was a racing incident, and it was a pretty bad crash, pretty big crash, but don't think anyone was particularly at fault there. Both were racing hard in the first corner, very, very light contact, but that sent both cars to the right side and into the tire wall there, and that wall there is absolutely unforgiving. As Stuart McFadden, his best lap, 25.6, 26.3 for Dimmer, 25.7 for Michael Evdoka. So Evdoka is definitely trying to get that second position from Dimmer, and who knows, maybe even a bit more, as we're in lap 5, 6 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock in this race 2 of 3.
Yeah, this one is bubbling up nicely, I must say. This is looking really interesting because I think Evdoka is certainly faster than McFadden. For some sort of reason, around the circuit, we've only got 3 sectors. Usually we have 6, but around here we got 3. Dima off the circuit a little bit, and Evdoka lost half second through the first sector. That way he was a little bit slower on that last lap, but this lap he's 2 tenths faster. So get ready for Michael Evdoka to be at least half a second faster on this lap. But he's got a bit of an issue. He's got a green car in front of him of Lee Dima, having another good run up there. Had a good Motegi round, actually, did Demon. This is looking good for him as well. Just ahead of Evdoka at the moment, starting in second position, still in second position. I doubt he's going to put up too much of a fight against Michael Evdoka. But yeah, we've got 12 minutes to go, and Evdoka, see how much faster he is on this lap. McFadden at 25.9, Evdoka 24.9. He's roaring along right now.
Yeah, great lap there, and Dimmer is a bit in the grass. Will he be able to stop the car? Yes, I told about that grass in the beginning of the broadcast. I think also Robinson went a bit wide there, lost 1 position. Yeah, you see dirt getting spilled from the back end of his BMW there. Luckily, Dimmer was able to stop because he was, you know, a bit more fast, and he would have gotten into Evdoka whilst Evdoka was doing the corner there on the left-hander. So a good presence of mind from Dimmer there. Now Evdoka is in P2. You were laughing at my prediction in the first lap after Evdoka's mistake at the start, Sam, but now Evdoka is going to get, I think, closer and closer to McFadden, and we're going to have a nice battle for the lead.
Well, I'm going to go against you. I think Stuart McFadden's going to win the race, actually. So, yeah. I'm not sure, actually. Evdoka's looking very quick. Malcolm off the circuit, and he's going to lose our position to Robinson. Maybe he's not. Yeah, a defensive block there. I think that was the definition of a block. Here was Robinson then, losing the car earlier on. Just running off the circuit a bit. As you can do in that turn 2. And Malcolm's one was very odd because he found himself not in Siberia, not in oh wait, no, that wasn't Siberia. This is Siberia.
No, this is Stoner. I was wrong before. Siberia is the corner after the hairpin.
Okay.
But once again, this grass is so hard to stop. I'm sure Malcolm was trying to do everything in his power to stop the car there. Going down the hill in the grass, bad recipe, and he went straight back onto the track, and sadly he collected I think Robinson's car there, so nothing you can do really. We will see in a second. Once you go there, there's no grip whatsoever. The brakes basically are not working, and as you see right now, even a bit of the sand there. Trying to stop. Oh yeah. I have to say, choreography-wise, it was perfect, but you know, racing-wise, a bad deal for both the 2 drivers involved, sadly.
Yeah, it's like a police episode of Neighbours, wasn't it? You know, it was a very nice little manoeuvre there, just to block a car. I can imagine that being on, you know, a TV show or something, but it's not really what we're looking for right now. And yeah, it's cost Scott Malcolm quite a bit because he's now 13 seconds behind his championship contender, Connor Wilmson. At least both of them should be able to qualify for the showdown right now because Viv Connor's going to drop out, and Dima's off.
Dima's off once again in the first corner. He is not liking that corner in this second race, and he lost another position. This time is Jamie Ayres getting the pod on him. P3 for Ayres, P4 for Dimmer. I think identical to the mistake he made in the previous occasion when Evdoka went by him. And Evdoka is closing on McFadden. We've got 9 minutes to go. He's got to push a little bit more if he wants to get that first position, I think.
Well, he will catch him by the end of the race. I don't think there's not much question about that because he's consistently kind of half a second to a second a lap faster is Evdoka, so he will catch him. It's just a matter of will McFadden allow him past, and I'm sure you won't let him past easily, but Michael Evdoka is a very good job because those 2 came together last week at Motegi in race 2, which possibly denied Michael Abducker his first chip pull in this series. But well, it doesn't look like he's going to be denied today. But he is looking very, very strong, and he is within 2 seconds. Jamie Ayres actually back under pressure from Lee Dima. So Dima really responding well. Maybe a little bit of damage on that Ayres car because Dima places up right close to him down the pit straight. Not a whole lot you can do around this part of the circuit, but it's all about just lining the car. He takes that very wide line to Lee Dima, just dropping a little bit too far back though, as yeah, nowhere near close enough going into this next section of corners.
Yeah, and I don't think he will be able to go for a move here at the hairpin, and of course he's a bit far away from Ayres. He is faster, he had a better pace throughout this second race, but he needs to close the gap, otherwise he won't be able to get back on that podium and get that third position on the grid for the final race of the evening.
Yeah, these positions matter so much because the results of this race decide the starting places of the next race. Lee Dima there, though he might go off the circuit, and yeah, as we were talking about earlier on, once you go off the circuit, you can very much find yourself in a different land altogether. But out in the lead, this one just spreading out a little bit. The lead is closing in quite considerably. McFadden now leads by 1.2 seconds, another half second taken out from Michael Abducker, 6/10 impact on that lap. And yeah, he's going to very soon be onto the back of him. He's going to have probably about 5 minutes to get the job done, Marco. And if you were Stuart McFadden, I imagine you kind of got to start thinking about how am I going to defend against this guy?
Yeah, elbows out, make that Ferrari as wide as possible, especially here in the hairpin. And you know, McFadden fought with Malcolm for most of race 1, and also made a great move, so he knows where you can be attacked, and with that experience I think he will make it as hard as possible for Evdoka. Of course, you know, we know how great of a defensive driver McFadden is, so I'm expecting a great battle, even though Evdoka is much quicker in terms of pace. I think it's going to be very, very tough for him to get around the Ferrari of McFadden.
Where he's now 8/10 behind, so he's going to be onto the back of him at the end of the next lap, and then it's going to be about just making the move. That's all that will matter, not pace. It'll just be about yeah, that race car from the pair of them. We're going to take a slightly different line, I think, down that pit straight, just trying to break the tape ever so slightly. But yeah, that Ferrari, at least we saw at Motegi, Marco, it seemed as though it was just pulling away down the straights, and that really did help him in his race car. And you know, if that can, if he can maybe just concentrate on the corner exits and have good straight line speed, then he's going to be even more difficult to overtake.
Yeah. Wow. Now Evdoka is absolutely close. 0.3 of a second here at the hairpin. There is some damage on the front of Evdoka's car, but doesn't seem to be affecting him that much. And wow, now they are extremely close. Evdoka is absolutely going to want that first position, and the battle, I think, is officially on.
These two are by far the fastest drivers out on track. That last lap, Evdoka with a 15.02, McFadden with a 15.59. The next quickest was Dima with a 26.01. So yeah, considerably faster, and they're pulled away by a long margin. They're 7 seconds clear of the rest of the field, but that doesn't matter now. What matters is can Michael Abducker make the move on Stuart McFadden, and he's got an awesome run coming out of the final corner. McFadden struggles through that final corner, and he's taking the inside for turn 1. Abducker's going to have to muscle his way round the outside through turn 1. Has he got the confidence to do it? No, he doesn't, and McFadden's got to go right to the inside into 2, and he did do that, and that was great defense from Stuart McFadden, and that's attack number 1 repelled.
Great defense there by McFadden. I'm expecting to see more of the same in the next few laps. Evdoka will have to get a great exit out of the final corner, which he did, but he will also need to have faith in his car and in his car control and keep the throttle down there on the outside of the first corner, and maybe have the inside for the second corner and try to get track position. I think that's the only way he can pass, unless he goes for a move at the hairpin or at the right-hander MG after the uphill here at Lucky Heights that we will be in a few seconds, right here.
Yeah, not getting nearly close enough to this part of the circuit, is he? And yeah, going to be difficult to make a move into those sectional corners. But yeah, where is he going to make that move? Now, McFadden really struggles around this final corner, and this is maybe where Doc's got his best chance, and you can see how he's gaining. McFadden, for some reason, hates that final corner, and he's got to go defensive. He is going defensive. He's not going to allow Evdoka to go down the inside, and there's not a whole lot you can do from the outside going into turn 1 because it's such a fast corner. The inside is necessary, and Evdoka not close enough for the move either into turn 2.
McFadden very defensive in the second corner, maybe too much. He compromised his exit line. Evdoka maybe will go for a move here at the hairpin if he can stay in the slipstream. McFadden biting that inside corner maybe too hard than necessary, and Evdoka is in! He goes
What
for a move!
That was stunning from Michael Evdoka. We've seen a couple of great moves by him so far this season. Interlagos comes to mind where he made the move on Richard Warmingham. But here it was from Evdoka, and it was from miles back. And I imagine McFadden was just, okay, I don't want to get in the way here because he's going to spear into me. But no, easy on the apex, and that's the race lead finish for Michael Evdoka, although it is very close between them still. And back comes Stuart McFadden. This is incredible. What a battle this is. He's got a wiggle though, and that's cost him the chance, perhaps, Stuart McFadden. And now Evdoka retakes the lead. What an attack that was from McFadden to come back at the second hairpin. But let's see if he can stay close to this final corner. He just dislikes that final corner so much though, does Stuart. And you can see his attack as well. I don't know if we could just see a replay of that attack from McFadden down into the hairpin, how he got so close in the first place. But yeah, that was a superb lap of racing, Marco.
Great racing there, white flag in the air. Michael Evdoka, the race leader, and going for the second race win in a row tonight after the win in race 1, and of course preparing for a good race 3 because he will be starting from pole position. But McFadden will maybe go for a move here. Oh, defending the inside is Evdoka, so no way to go for the Ferrari. Evdoka is a bit sideways there. I think the pressure will be on until the end of the race for Evdoka, but McFadden needs like a super overtake to pass Evdoka because Evdoka has the pace to stay in front.
Yeah, absolutely. McFadden's given it his absolute all in this second race of the day. I don't think he's won a race this season. Evdoka has won a couple, and this would be his third race victory, so his fourth race victory in the past 3 meetings. As he comes around the final few corners, there's not a whole lot McFadden can do from here. Evdoka rounds the final corner here at Phillip Island, and he's going to reach the checker flag first. Michael Evdoka takes race 2 here at Phillip Island, and what a race victory that was. It was hard earned. He had to chase down Stuart McFadden after dropping to the back of the grid in the opening couple of corners. And what a move it was to consolidate that first position. And he just about hung on in the end. Jamie Ayres will finish in 3rd position with Lee Deemer in 4th, with Colin Robinson and Scott Malcolm the final rounds. But yeah, that was a great race, wasn't it, Marco? Evdoka there showing superb pace. He had to be on his top game to catch and overtake McFadden, and boy did he do it.
Yeah, great racing, and Evdoka has been in a chasing position the entire race, and he was able to get the move done, I think, with 1 to go, but he had to defend for the entirety of the final lap, so it wasn't easy. Great win, pole position for race 3, and of course props to Stuart McFadden as well. It wasn't easy with his Ferrari. He was complaining after the first race of terrible tire wear, and I drive the Ferrari GT3 sometimes. I believe him. It's not the fastest car, said it is, and he was able to hold on for a good second position and a front row start for race 3 in a few minutes.
Yeah, you question maybe a good strategy could give him a chance in that race 3, but the favourite for the triple will certainly be Michael Evdoka. We can go through the final standings now. Michael Evdoka takes the race victory, 7/10 clear in the end of Stuart McFadden. In third place was Jamie Ayres, quite a quiet race, but actually did really well after an incident earlier on, which dropped into the back of the field. Lee Demon finishes in fourth, maybe a missed opportunity for Lee, particularly a podium was very possible there, with Colin Robinson made a couple of mistakes in fifth. Scott Malcolm had some interesting moves there, blocking Colin Robinson. He ends up in sixth place. And then one lap down was Anthony Jefferson and Max Wright, and Josh Thompson did not finish the race, 11 laps down on the leader. We'll be back with you in about 20 minutes time for the final race of the evening, race 3 here from Phillip Island. All the points matter there, still looking really close in the standings. We will be back next time, and from me, from Market and from Sam, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you next time. And he will get his foot down any moment now as the pace car pulls in. Tony Klinsmann waits to apply the throttle, and there he goes. It's not a brilliant launch for him, and Michael Evdoka's right on his tail. Can he get into the slipstream? It's just side by side between Foggy, but Klinsmann hangs on to the inside. Evdoka not taking too many risks, and down the inside for Klinsmann. It's a good start for him. Just holding on against Evdoka. Foggy into third, Granton fourth, Jackson fifth, Lutzmore sixth. And
Daledonne goes around the chicane. He's bringing the car back onto the track, but he lost a lot of positions there. Too aggressive, as I said, inexperienced with his cars, and it showed here.
And Evdoka leads this race, and now Foggy's looking for any opportunity to get past. Brandon looking racy as well in fourth. Klinsmann, he's not used to this, being overtaken on just the second lap, But it seems to be that Evdoka has certainly the pace to win this race. Down the inside goes Klosterman. Evdoka not building up the lead, but Klosterman there trying to stay as close as possible. Trying to get the move down into the Casio triangle. Down the inside goes Latsmore, and he can get that done, and here comes Richie. Down the inside, can he get it stopped? Just about, but he needs to get the cut back now. Really dry, and off the track goes Latsmore. He got the move done. Richie might gain 2 positions here in a couple of corners. Richie into the slipstream. Gotta go to the inside, not much defence from Jackson. And Richie will just go straight through here, and he goes up into 5th place. Brilliant debut drive for Richie out.
Sorry guys, I want to butt in very quickly. Michele Richie around, coming out of the Casio triangle. Issues for him?
Yeah, I was watching the live timing. I thought he was going in for a pit stop, or a very early pit stop, but you're right, he went around.
I think Klosterman might be about to lose a position here. Here comes Foggy. Klosterman's got to slow down. Don't go into the back of him, Brandon. Oh, that was so close. Klosterman was desperate not to drop down to 4th. Foggy close, not looking for a move. Do you think that was maybe... Do you think he's quite happy? Do you think that's a sign? Because there was no kind of glance to the inside at all there. Oh, he's off the track. No. But he's held on. He's going to remain in 2nd place. Wow, that was so close. What's that? Oh, what do you think of that?
Commentator's curse?
Oh, no.
Oh, another error.
And Brandon now around the outside. He's going to have the inside for the final S. And Klosterman started in 1st place. But on lap 10, he's fallen down to 4.
And avoiding contact. Well, the other car
we
was
got another
joining.
driver up. So, Rosie Borges has just gone off. McKnight, no. Wow, and now down the inside of both of them goes Michel Ritchie. Down the inside goes Ritchie. McKnight's going to try to hang it round the outside. Ritchie hangs on 2 places in 1. We're seeing McKnight spend 10 laps behind Borges, not being able to make up 1 place. And Ritchie has made up 2 places here, twice now in this event. Doesn't seem like anyone's going to pit this time round.
Klosterman is in.
Oh well. So Alex, you're opposite.
Miles off.
Evdoka's in. So Evdoka's in.
And of course, he pits this time.
Well, now we're really confused because I was hoping that for once Apex Racing TV would know what's going on with the strategy, but that's right in the middle. So he's left himself options, but now a 2-stop's going to be surely really difficult for him to achieve. A driver a little bit off the... Foggy is in. Foggy's in. Is Brandon in? No, Brandon stays out. So surely that's got to be a 2-stop for Brandon. Is Foggy exiting the pits? Yes, he's miles ahead. Foggy is a long... Nicole Foggy with a much shorter pit stop. 9 seconds shorter.
And Johnny Brandon is in from the 1st position.
Latsmore in as well, and Jackson, so that seems to be the cutoff. No further than 19 laps on these tyres. Foggy will retake the lead. Brandon still stationary, clearly going on the same strategy as his teammate Michael Evdoka, but where will he be in relation to Evdoka? Evdoka passed, so Brandon still stationary. It's going to be a 35-second stop, 3 seconds slower than his teammate. Stephen Latimore gonna be, exactly the same stop for him though, 4 seconds, and Jackson 34 seconds. Where's Ritchie compared to them? Ritchie has jumped them both. So Ritchie with that short stop has gone from 7th to 5th in that pit stop period. Building on your point you just said, how drivers aren't really taking advantage. Tony Klosterman just made a big error. An error now for Ritchie. Latimore down the inside. Ritchie's not going to have a chance. And that is that's much better than what Ritchie did in the Casio triangle when Klosterman made a mistake, because Latimore has pounced on that, and that was a really good opportunistic move in the end. Whittaker's got to let past these two. This is not what Latimore needs whatsoever. But again, Ritchie's not there to take advantage. Whittaker off the circuit, but lets them through eventually. And again, Ritchie, he's not really there. What's the chances of there? Oh my goodness, Latimore, another slide. Here comes Ritchie down the inside of Spoon. Can he make it? Yes, he can. No, he's got a big slide down the inside. Goes Latimore. He's going to have to drag the second part of Spoon, sorry. And here comes back Ritchie. They're going to be side by side. going into 130R now, heading up the hill. And Richie, doubt he's going to have a go down here.
Klusterman is in. Yeah, Klusterman is in for a pit stop.
Okay. Yeah, I really should just shut up now, shouldn't I? Because I've been wrong on every single count.
Yeah, number 66.
Oh, he's in.
He's in, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, this is really spicing up now. I was a bit concerned that maybe they're all going to go for 2 stops, but there's a clear divide in the strategy. Foggy in on lap 30 of 56. So, of course,
And Evdoka is in.
And Evdoka
is in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
By the way, and now
Oh,
he's the
Evdoka's
new
ahead.
leader.
Evdoka's ahead of Foggy. What a quick stop for Michael Evdoka. 7.7 seconds for Evdoka. What a pit stop. He is into the net lead.
And
that last
Latimore
pit
is
stop-
around again. Oh no, he's safety.
No. Oh, he's going to lead up to Jackson, isn't he? Here comes Jackson. Is he going to get a slowdown? Latimore. And Latimore does pit this time, so he won't have to serve the slowdown. That's the smart thing to do. Yeah, classic error in this car. We've seen it a few times today. Just the wheel spin is so difficult to control. Really do respect these drivers out here for doing, you know, 56 laps in such powerful cars. Just a little bit of a reference. Foggy is 25 seconds behind, and they both have a stop to go. Brandon's stop is going to be significantly longer, however, but Foggy is closing in at 2 seconds a lap currently, and is now only 3 seconds behind Michael Evdoka. So, I think Brandon's in. Brandon's in.
He's in.
So, this is going to be kind of where we get a decent reference and the target for Foggy, because he's going to undoubtedly be a long way behind, but it's how far behind it is going to be the important question. And Jackson in it as well, yeah. So Evdoka will lead. No, Evdoka's in! Oh my goodness. So Evdoka had that super short second stint. You know what? I don't think that's worked for him, has it? Surely not, because he's going to have the same length of pit stop as Brandon. And, yeah, just lots more going past. And Chris Jackson going past as well. Michael Evdoka, Jim McKnight going past. And Jose Borges just going through 130 up. And Klisterman, 25 seconds now stationary, and away he goes. So decent stop for Klisterman. And I think he might just stick in that 7th place to the end of the race now. He's still stationary. Brandon is coming across the line now. Foggy still stationary. Still taking fuel seemingly. Brandon's going to take the lead. Through goes Johnny Brandon into the lead of the race. Nicole Foggy now gets away.
Definitely tyres, guys. Second
Definitely
sector.
tyres, okay, thanks for that.
Optimal, straight away. Sector 2, optimal. So he's quick.
This is on, so 8 seconds to catch. And he has got, this is lap 49 of 56. This is proper intense now. He doesn't, can he go to the inside here? Big slide for Jackson. Jackson's slow, going to be slow on the exit. Here comes Evdoka. Needs to get the run. This is crucial. Championship points. He gets such a big slide, does Michael Evdoka. But he's still in the slipstream, right behind Chris Jackson. They're not going to clear the 71 car in time. Defensive from Jackson. Round the outside goes Evdoka. He needs this all the way round the outside through the first part. Through the second part, he can get the inside for the third part. He's nearly lost it. Oh my goodness me, I thought that was curtains for the pair of them. Evdoka, I thought he'd made it, but clearly those marbles just affecting him too much.
He maybe doesn't know that Johnny Brandon is on worse tires than Foggy, so he doesn't know that there will... Oh, we got an attack on the outside that was very risky.
Go for it. He's got the inside maybe for the final corner. Here he goes, he's got to go for it, Brandon. Down the inside. Can't make it.
Long story short, he wants to make the pass. He wants to get the point. Because we don't know if Foggy will be able to pass Brandon, in all seriousness. And he tries again on the outside.
Oh,
big
contact.
That's a big
my
crash.
goodness. Wow. That was as close as... Oh, and he's got damage. I think that's Jackson with steering damage maybe. Brandon got decent traction from the hairpin. And Foggy, he's struggling to get any closer. He's 4 tenths behind. This is about the same gap as last time. He should have the run through spoon. This is where he was so quick at the start of the race. And now he's lining it up. He's got to absolutely nail this traction zone here. He's close, he's close. He's nailed the traction. And now here comes Foggy in the slipstream. Any chance into 130R. Warming him, the car, Woodward gets out of the way. Foggy so close. Brandon, surely he's got to defend into the Casio triangle. Brandon defends, to the outside goes Foggy. Can he go round the outside here? He tries it, he can't make it. Can he get the traction on the exit? It's going to be Johnny Brandon, surely, to take the race victory. His 6th of the season, and Brandon gets it. What a race. Foggy in 2nd place. Wow, Marco, that really was the finish we all wanted.
2 hours of racing and we get this amazing finish.
It's right on the knife edge right now. Brandon closes in the championship, but the race results today, Johnny Brandon, what a race. Pulled off the 2-stopper. We'll never know, I guess, which was faster, the 2-stopper or the 3-stopper, because in the end, they are separated by less than a 10th of a second. Stephen Latsmore, great drive from him. Gotta give a shout out to him. 16.5 seconds off the lead, and he was quite a bit behind actually after the first few laps, so brilliant drive from Stephen to come home in 3rd. I think that's probably his best result of the season, so well done to him. Michael Avdoka, it could have been better, it could have been worse. I must say, I'm not sure if he had the pace of the top 2 out there. Early on, he seemed to be struggling against Foggy, but I think he'll take that 4th place after that terrifying moment down the pit straight. Tony Klusman comes home in 5th after getting pole position. That strategy just never worked out for Tony, and he just lacked a little bit of pace. Also, a penalty in the pit stop, that cost him as well. Michel Ricci, good debut for him in 6th position. Chris Jackson comes home in 7th. Could have been a 4th for him, but he was super unlucky out there with that contact. Jamie McKnight come home in 8th. Jose Borges, another good race from him in 9th. Anthony Woodward comes home in 10th. Richard Warmingham, very kind of on his own race out there in 11th.
But obviously there wasn't a lot in it. I wasn't planning to do the 2-stop. I just didn't quite do as well as I'd hoped in quali. So after the first stint behind the top 3, I was saving so much fuel, lifting and coasting everywhere. I thought I might as well go for it. I did start worrying in the 2nd stint because I was lifting and coasting so much more to try and make those laps, but paid off in the end. So happy days.
Oh yes, most definitely. Happy to get a 3rd. I wasn't too confident coming into this round. This track, cars, lights everywhere. Typical slippery Japanese track. But yeah, strategy worked out for me in the long run.
In the final 5 rounds, final 2 meetings coming up in the next month here on Apex Racing TV. From me, Marco and Alex, we will see you in 2 weeks' time at Kota for the penultimate round of the season.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Welcome back to the BSR Grand Tour for the final race of the evening here at Phillip Island. We just witnessed a really good race too, where Michael Evdocker managed to chase down Stuart McFadden to win that race. And Marco, we've seen the triple done twice so far this season. First, Josh Thompson at Belle Isle. That was quite spectacular. And then also again at Indianapolis, I think the week after with Anwar Smith. And it looks as though Michael Evdocker is looking very strong for his first triple in this series today.
Absolutely, we start from pole position with Jamie Ayres right beside him, and it's Lee Dimmer, Colin Robinson, Scott Malcolm, Anthony Jacobson, and Max Wright. For starting in first position is the premier spot. If you want to finish the race in front of everyone else, we will have more likely than not a pit stop during this race. We saw some drivers go for a non-stopper at Indianapolis, didn't work for them, so while the pit stop is not required in the rule books, it is certainly highly recommended if you want to finish the race and cross the start-finish line. Some interesting, some points available for these guys, so it's going to be a nice race. It will determine the final grid for the showdown that is slated to begin next week. So just 7 days time, next Sunday. And of course, we saw some great racing, so I'm expecting more of the same as the cars are making their way towards the final corners. maybe a little bit more distant than that, as we see the beautiful ocean in the background. Also a couple of boats. It would be nice to be there, Sam, enjoying a cold one and watching the race, but we are stuck in the commentary booth, so gotta do what we gotta do, and let's commentate this race that will end the regular season for the BSR Grand Tour.
Yes, absolutely. And it looks as though the top 6 in the championship are quite confirmed. Look at that, Michael Abducker already going, I think. Is he? I'm not sure. Here we go. He went very early in race 1 and he has gone early once again in race 3. Michael Abducker leads around the field. The pace car into the pits. And Michael Abducker being harassed coming down the pit straight by Jamie Ayres. But it looks as though he's going to be okay this time. Oh dear! And that's a big crash for Lee Diemer. And we're already down to 6 drivers now. Michael Abducker though leading into turn 1. Very close between Robinson holding off Anthony Jacobson with Scott Malcolm in 5th place. Boy, does he need a good result. And Robinson's made the same mistake as he made in race 2. He's off the circuit and that's 3 places gone for him. And crucial points in the ARM Championship as well.
Diemer went straight over a patch of dirt that was sitting there on the start-finish line. You will see the clear change in color. Oh, well, he lost the car also before, so that didn't help. And straight into the barrier. There's no way out from a crash like this, even though this is a fairly short race. He is back on the track, so he will get that fast repair, and he will try to finish the race, but he will have to wait a bit, because if he stops now, it's not going to be easy to finish the race for him, as Ayres is extremely close to Evdoka.
Yeah, this is super impressive from Jamie Ayres. Remember, this was the same top 2 in the first race, and we very much saw Jamie Ayres fall away in just 20 minutes. He ended up 15 seconds behind. But in this race, he's much closer. But once again, I don't know what it is about that final corner, Mike. It might just be my eyes. It might just be my eyes deceiving me. But I swear, Abducker is mighty for that final corner, because he seems to just gain a car length every time. It's 7/10 across the line after lap 1 of this race. And Ayres, well, what can he do, Mark? Has he got? I guess he's got to go all-out attack in the early stages, try to put some pressure on Abducker, but it seems as though it's a bit inevitable, because Abducker in the first 2 races has been considerably faster than his rival.
Yeah, talking a bit about that last corner, from experience I can tell you that you want to get on that gas pedal as soon as possible on the left-hander, but sometimes you get on the gas pedal too quickly, and that will inevitably bring your car on the grass on the outside of the final straight. So Evdoka has got his timing down to perfection every time and gets a much better run than I dare to say anyone else in the field today. That has been the difference, because let's be honest, you get a good run through the final straight and you can carry that momentum through the first corner and to the rest of the lap. And in the rest of, apart from that, Ayres is running pretty close to Evdoka, but in this corner here you see Evdoka makes a massive difference every time around, and of course that is also very important when you get to the final, maybe you are in a battle, you want to get a good launch, and you can get a good run.
Place for fourth.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, Jacobson and Malcolm running side by side going into the first corner. Malcolm on the inside. And Wright also has joined the party, Sam.
Yeah, if Malcolm can get third position here. I've been talking about the ARM Championship quite a bit today, but he really does need the points, because he came into this round behind Colin Robinson in the point standings, and he's had 2 very unfortunate races, has Scott Malcolm, but back comes Anthony Jacobson. He's down the inside into the hairpin, but round the outside goes Scott Malcolm, but he's off the circuit, and he might lose a position potentially to Max Wright. Max Wright round the outside, and this day, Marco, for Scott Malcolm just seems to get worse and worse.
Yeah, too bad for him. Now, we made some calculations between race 2 and race 3, and while Scott was sounding a little bit dejected after the second race, we think, Sam thinks, is still good to go for the showdown. but of course I think he needs some good results for his morale, because he has had a couple of bad races tonight, and this is looking to be a tough one as well.
Yeah, and it's all working well for Max Wright, the driver in third in the AM Championship. He's not going to fight for the championship in the AM category, but he is going to be fighting for third place in this race. And down the inside he is of Anthony Jacobson. Can Jacobson repel the attack around the outside? No, he can't. And Wright really does need to get a move on now to try to clear the likes of these drivers. Almost a little bit out wide there, Max Wright, but he is going to be safe, I think, from Anthony Jacobson into the hairpin. Jacobson did come from far back against Malcolm on the last lap. It's not close enough this time.
Taking a look at the track status, and the track has not been cleared of marbles and dust, so you go off the line and you get loose. And what happened to Dimmer at the beginning? He got loose, but when he tried to save the car, he ran into that patch of dirt, and that basically sent his car flying to the outside of the front straight. As we see this great battle with Robinson slowly creeping in from 6th position, maybe trying to get a piece of the pie as well.
Brilliant move this from Scott Malcolm, and he's made his way ahead. That was absolutely superb. It was a matter of a few corners for him. Had to put himself on the outside into Siberia, I think it was, and then yeah, managed to go side by side for a few more corners and eventually found the inside line and that 4th position. Now he can go chase down Max Wright. What can Colin Robinson do just behind us? Seen Robinson make a couple of mistakes so far today, particularly in the turn 2 just coming up. He usually drives quite aggressively, does Robinson. We saw this on board with him at Motegi, Mark, and what really struck me was the fact that he seems to carry a lot of speed into the corners and use a lot of steering angle. And whilst the BMW, I think that might be the way to drive the BMW, it just seemed to say he was scrubbing a little bit more speed off than he had to. And down the inside goes Anthony Jacobson. What a move that is. He loves that move. Malcolm way too early on the brakes.
Yeah, great move there. Makes the move on Malcolm, and now Malcolm has to watch his back. And see, we are on board with Robinson. I was just about to say, this BMW doesn't like to be turned too much in the slow corners or when you are at a very, very low speed. It gets into a spin that is very, very slow but impossible to counter. So you see your car spinning, you can feel it losing the back end, and you can do anything about it. You just have to wait for the spin to end and get back on track. And that's exactly what has happened, I think, before with Robinson, what was going to happen a few seconds ago. He was able to lift and save the car, a rare instance, because this car wants to step out from you when you're going at a slow pace. This car likes to go fast, basically. So, just like Ricky Bobby, so you have to go fast with the BMW.
Good analogy. And Jacobson almost off the circuit. This is round 3 now. Jacobson versus Malcolm. And yeah, there are not already, well, to be fair, not many blows have kind of been landed so far. Their cars look very, very healthy. Maybe in these latter stages they are going to start landing some knocks. But right now, just about protected is Anthony Jacobson. I thought maybe Robinson was a little bit deep on Malcolm there going into the hairpin. But yeah, Malcolm, I'm struggling to judge his pace, to be fair, because he seems to lose the position, and off the circuit goes Anthony Jacobson, and he's going to lose 1 position, and he's going to lose 2 positions, and down to 6th place now.
Yeah, mistake there, went onto the grass and then the gravel. Bad recipe, as we have learned throughout the evening. This changes the complexion of this battle once again, gives Max Wright a little bit of a gap now into trying to keep the 3rd position. Malcolm is back in 4th, so all left to be decided between these 3 guys here for 4th, 5th and 6th position, whilst Evdoka is 24.6, I think, getting more and more gap on Jamie Ayres. I don't think that Max Wright has what it takes to get close to Ayres, even though I think Ayres has gone a little bit wide there, but nothing major. So the battle is, I think, between these 3 guys Malcolm and Robinson and Jacobson for positions 4, 5, and 6. And, we don't know what the strategy and the games in the pits might bring to this race.
Yeah, you'd expect Scott Malcolm to stay out as long as possible. Jamie Ayres just having a little bit of an off at the start of this lap. Lost about a second and a half through the first sector, and here it was. Maybe just getting on the power a little bit early. No, he got on the curb, and yeah, actually did get on the power a little bit early off the circuit, but managed to very well didn't accelerate off the track. And I think I was talking a little bit about the inevitability of this, Marco, and it kind of shows how I think Michael out in the lead is quite comfortable with his pace. Jamie out there, though, having to push so hard just to, keep tabs on with Michael, and eventually those mistakes are going to creep in, and that's when the gap is going to really extend out.
Yeah, and at some point you have to admit to yourself that you're not fast enough to get to Michael, and maybe be happy with the second position. It's not easy, of course, because everybody wants to win, but maybe you risk losing that second position. Maybe if you make enough mistakes, right, Malcolm and all the other guys will close on you. So we'll have to see how Jamie Ayres will play this one out. I think he'll have to settle down a bit. Okay, Evdoka, we know he's a great driver, one of the main drivers in this championship. Ayres is very fast as well, but Evdoka today seems to have that little bit extra. And of course, sitting in third is Max Wright. Now a nice gap over, you see them right behind him, Malcolm, Robinson and Jacobson. Mercedes, BMW and another Mercedes fighting for this fourth spot.
Well, I'm finding this battle absolutely fascinating, I must say, because the advantage of pace seems to just ebb and flow a few times per lap, because earlier on it looked as though Malcolm was really quick, because he waltzed up to the back of Jacobson, made the move, seemingly was going to be able to pull away, but then Jacobson managed to make the move, pushed Malcolm down. Then it seemed like Wright was super fast. And already into the pits is Scott Malcolm. I thought he was going to go really long, and he's off the circuit. And could that be an unsafe pit entry? We're going to have to watch out for his pit time. And also into the pits is Jacobson and Ayres as well. So this is interesting, Mark. I'm surprised so many drivers have pitted early on.
Yeah, very early stops for these guys. Let's take a look at the pit stop times, because like you said, I think Malcolm is in the clear regarding a possible penalty. 11 seconds, 0.4 for Jamie Ayres. It's 6 seconds, 0.6 for Jacobson, and 8 seconds, 0.4 for Scott Malcolm. So very fast stops for these guys, but still Jamie Ayres will be in front of them because of the gap he was able to build during the race. Now, is 6 seconds enough for Jacobson? Are 8 seconds enough for Malcolm? Or was Jamie Ayres with his 11.5 seconds too cautious, let's say, and overfuel this car?
Yeah, going to be really interesting now, because like you say, it's quite a disparity between. I'm not sure if that's a word, but quite a difference in the pit stop times. You ever noticed this pit stop? It's a bit lane, so it's a bit like Silverstone, where it kind of goes underneath almost the circuit.
Yeah,
in the pits.
I think you also have two different ways to exit the pits, as Max Wright will take the temporary lead and Robinson will slot into second. Michael Evdoka is in the pit stall and he's taking his time, 9 seconds, 0.3. So now you'll see Evdoka come out of the pits. You can either go straight right or do what he's doing, and that's following the longer road, safer road, because you don't want to run into the people going past the start-finish line. Wise decision from Michael. Maybe it cost him a bit of time, but I think he will still be in front of Jamie Ayres in the end. He went 2 seconds quicker in the pit stall, so all good for him.
Of course, during that pit stops then, Malcolm lost the position to Jacobson, so he's going to have to overtake Jacobson for the 4th time. My God. He'll be sick of the backside of that Anthony Jacobson car. And he is only 7 tenths behind. Never seen a driver have to overtake another driver 4 times in 15 minutes? I think that's what's going to happen here, and Malcolm just can't seem to get it stuck. And this is the thing I'm talking about, Mike. I don't know if you agree with me, but I swear I can't work out who's the faster of these 4 drivers, because one moment Malcolm's attacking, one moment he's defending, one moment, you know, Wright's pulling away, next moment he's falling back into them. I have no idea what's going to happen next in this battle for 3rd position.
Yeah, and now the fact that Wright and Robinson have stayed out a couple of laps more, and they are still staying out because they just started their 11th lap of the race, is making for a pretty interesting race, even for the non-podium positions, even though Max Wright is in 3rd virtually, I think. So that is going to be considered as a podium spot, even though I think also Jamie Ayres he's going to be clear in 2nd, so no problem for him. Let's see. Now, of course, Wright and Robinson have quite clear track ahead of them. Robinson has got Evsdoka. It is, let's see, 6 seconds behind him, so not an immediate threat, so he can push for a little bit more. And we know that these drivers can go for most of these 35 minutes before stopping. It's really just a splash. So if everything is looking good for Robinson, there is no need to stop right now, I think. And the same goes for Wright.
Yeah, they can probably go for another 10 minutes or so. Should be able to get to within about 5 minutes of the end, 10 minutes of the end. Let's see what they do though. So Wright, staying out for a bit longer, and Robinson, who is closing in slightly on Max Wright, and he is now into the pit, so this will be fascinating. One, to see what his pit stop time is, and probably more importantly, where he comes out. And Malcolm's got ahead of Jacobson, so Malcolm is ahead of Jacobson now. So we will see a replay of that in a moment, I think, of how that move was executed. But more importantly right now, Colin Robinson, he was behind those 2 drivers before this pit stop. And remember, we've got a 6 and an 8-second pit stop to compare, and he's already overshot his pit stop, and that could cost him a couple of positions. Colin Robinson still taking fuel, and it's a long pit stop for him. It's 10 seconds, and he's certainly going to lose out to Scott Malcolm, I think. Will he stay ahead of Anthony Jacobson, though, is the question, and he is a long way behind Jacobson. There he is, and wow, it was a couple of strong laps there, Marco, for Colin Robinson, but overshooting his pit stall like that has cost him any chance of harassing those drivers anytime soon.
Yeah, it cost him dearly. Malcolm went past Jacobson, like you said. I think that Jacobson went for a ride in the grass because he had a 3 seconds slower lap than Malcolm. Yeah, there it is. And that gifted the position back to Malcolm once again. So now only Max Wright has yet to stop, and then we will have a clearer picture of the field with basically half of the race left.
So Wright previously was about 3 seconds ahead of Robinson. You think Robinson 10-second pit stop lost at least kind of 3 seconds in that as well by shooting his pit stall. So he, by my calculations at least, Robinson's 5 seconds behind Malcolm. So Wright should be about a second clear of Malcolm if they pitted now. So it's a straight fight now between these drivers. We'll compare their lap times. On that last lap, Max Wright set a 1 minute 25.99. Malcolm is just approaching the line now, and he puts in a 1 minute 26.14. So the advantage there for Wright. And these are great battles, I think, Marco. When you know, you're not fighting each other on track necessarily, but it's all about the stopwatch and just setting those good times one after the other. They're both in clean air, and it's almost just qualifying laps one after the other now.
Yeah, and you are right about talking about the ebb and flow, because in the previous lap, Malcolm had his fastest lap of the race, so now instead he had a slow lap. So it's all changing, and I'm waiting for that Max Wright pit stop in order to have a better understanding about what's going on. What it's looking like right now is that Jacobson has been able to pull a little gap over Robinson, and Malcolm as well has pulled a little gap on Jacobson. So we really need to see where Max Wright will slot. 25.9 for the race leader and 24.6 for Michael Evdoka, but of course Evdoka already took his pit stop, as did Jemiers and all the others. So the important comparison will be with Malcolm, Jacobson, and Robinson. Here comes Malcolm on the start-finish line, and drum roll, 26.0. So a little bit faster Max Wright as well this time around. So looking good for Wright to keep his podium spot after his pit stop.
Yeah, look at Colin Robinson's time there. He did a 25.68. That's, 4/10 faster than his rival. So they, bloody hell, I think he just went off the circuit. He's just lost himself 2 seconds. Oh, Colin really hates this turn 2, doesn't he? Just every time seems to overshoot it. And there he is. He realizes the danger of the grass there, decides to really put the brakes on quick just so that he doesn't go too far off the grass, because, yeah, once you do go off the grass, you're very much into Narnia there, and you're not going back on any time soon. So he's now 4.5 seconds off Jacobson, so any kind of momentum he was gaining, Colin Robertson, has very much been halted now. And instead he's just going to have to try to start all over again and hope for a couple of mistakes ahead. Of course, we haven't talked too much about the theoretical leader, Michael Evdoka. Currently running second place. He's only 5 seconds off the lead now of Max Wright. He's going to be with Max Wright in probably about 2 or 3 laps time. And he is now 15 seconds ahead of Jamie Ayres. So that gap was very close early on, but a mistake from Ayres. Since then, I think Ayres kind of realises that he's not going to be able to fight Evdoka. Very much just wants to finish the race. Similar tactic to what he used in race 1. And then, of course, it's the battle that we've been talking about. Wright, Malcolm, Jacobson and Robinson for the final podium position.
Yeah, a track that is full of danger for the drivers. We haven't talked about the biggest danger to these drivers here at Phillip Island because they haven't showed up. Talking about the seagulls that usually roam around this area. Luckily, iRacing hasn't got as far as simulating annoying birds trying to get in your way, and we've seen during the years, especially during the bike racing, that drivers had to take, well, of course the poor seagulls had a worse fate, but bike riders had to take avoiding action because an impact with a seagull can cause big problems, of course bigger problems to the bird sadly, but also to you. Not here, also it's a cloudy day, so I think the seagulls are roaming, I think, around the sea and not the racetrack where these guys are pushing extremely hard. I tell you what, Evdoka might make the pass before Wright adds into the pit stop.
Yeah, certainly a possibility. I think it was Iannone, wasn't it, going on his Ducati, before Ducati kind of became quite as successful as they are now. And it seems to remember that was a really good race because Ducati were on form that day. And if only it wasn't for him having a hole in his bike for 80% of the race, maybe he would have been even faster, Iannone, but instead it was just coming down this hill, just going into this hairpin coming up where it struck him whilst leading the race.
Jamie Ayres out in the grass, I think. Of course, every mistake he makes helps Evdoka. And wanna know an interesting fact that you surely didn't know about me? Is of course the fact that I don't like Ducati like Ferrari. Yeah, I am a terrible Italian.
Well, what are the MotoGP? Is it just the fans that you dislike?
No, I basically root for everyone that is not Valentino Rossi, but also sometimes.
Oh, you don't like Rossi?
No.
Oh wow, okay. Well, because the fans again, or just because of him?
I grew up a Biaggi fan, so I'm in the minority here in Italy.
See, I'm too young. I'm sorry, but I'm too young to even even relate to that. So, right, okay, and that's just stuck, has it?
Yeah, and of course the Ducatis. When Lorenzo wins with the Ducati, it's good, but I don't like the Italian media parading around for a company that is basically Italian only in the name. So when they win, they are Italian. When they don't win, they are owned by the Volkswagen Group. So you know how it works. When you win, you're a hero. When you win, you're a British, and when you lose, you're a Scottish, like Andy Murray, right? Works like that.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely, yeah.
So Max Wright is still staying out, by the way, in this race, and 10 minutes to go, and I think he will stay out another lap. Yes.
Yeah, he hasn't got a whole lot more laps to go. And also, surely it's worth him pitting before a dog catches him. I think that's a bit of a no-brainer. His lap times, though, have been really good, Max Wright, to be fair. And look at that. His fastest lap of the race, 25.72, and he's really giving himself a good chance at staying ahead of Scott Malcolm. On a couple of laps previously, he was 0.3 faster than Scott Malcolm. And he's doing everything he needs to do right now to stay in that third position once he makes a pit stop.
Well, so far so good for Wright. The strategy is looking like a winning one, even though Malcolm, Jacobson and Robinson are not fighting against each other anymore. Still, Wright is having the clear track and not having to, worry too much about for example, Evdoka. He is not worrying too much about Evdoka because he knows this is not a real battle for position, whilst Malcolm, Jacobson and Robinson have to watch behind and in front of them, of course, in their laps. So far, it's looking very, very good for Wright to keep that podium position in the end. Maybe, tell you what, I see every lap, at least once per lap, Jamie Ayres is getting some red near his name. That means that he's going for a little ride in the grass now. 19 seconds probably won't be enough for Wright to stay in front of him, but if Ayres keeps making mistakes, and now he's a little bit sideways as well, maybe Wright can also try for that second position if Ayres keeps making mistakes.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised by this from Jamie Ayres. They must have just been lax of concentration, because I thought he kind of just backs off just to protect his pace, his position. But yeah, he's making a couple of mistakes up there, isn't he? And needs to make sure he doesn't put it into the wall. Fortunately, there's plenty of grass around. He has still got good pace, does Jamie Ayres. I would just like to give a thanks to everyone who's liked this video. We've got 6 likes, which is a bit more than I thought we would do, considering we've only got 6 drivers out there. So thanks, guys. And, yeah, we've only got about 15 watching right now, and yeah, not a great turnout for the series today. But thanks for tuning along. Yeah, of course, press that subscribe button as Jamie Ayres nearly goes off the circuit there. Oh, really close for the lead now. Max Wright just set a little bit of a slower lap time. It has allowed Michael Doggett to go down the inside, and this is crucial tense that Max Wright is losing, and he's a little bit wide again. That's lost him, I'd say, about a second or so, Marco. Now I think he's going to go into the pits, and I don't really know why he didn't pit a lap earlier, because that's put his that third position in a bit of jeopardy.
Yeah, he lost a lot of time there. Logical choice now to go in. You are right, maybe would have gone in the pits a lap earlier. Let's see where he will come out. He has got some advantage over 4, 5 and 6. I think that Ayres will go past him. You see Ayres on the front stretch right now. So that second position locked for Jamie Ayres. And now here comes Max Wright. Let's see which way he will come out of the pits. If the short route, yeah, he takes the short route. And he stays in front of Scott Malcolm, not by much, but a comfortable margin in the end for the red Mercedes.
Yeah, a couple of seconds still. You think before the pit stops, it was about 3 seconds, I think. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Malcolm can just come back at him with these kind of 6.5 minutes remaining. Yeah, 2 seconds the gap. This could be interesting because, of course, what you got to remember is that Wright in the past, well, since Malcolm Pitts has had a fuel advantage, it's been lighter. So I wonder if that's just going to turn a little bit, and he's going to be kept honest by Malcolm to the end of this race. He, of course, will need to pick up as many points as possible for his championship. Max Wright isn't going to qualify for the showdown. He's not going to fight for the championship. But what a good result a P3 will be for him. And if I remember correctly, Marco, I think the Murray Walker Cup might be for drivers who don't finish on the podium for the season. kind of going to break that. He's not going to be valid for the championship. I doubt that's what his concern is, because P3, I think, would be his best result ever in this series, Max Wright.
I mean, he's having a fantastic race today, Max Wright. Sadly, that moment with Evdoka lost him much of the advantage he created on track while staying out all the time. Still, he's able to stay in front of Malcolm. Now, in this lap, we will see the real difference in the times. Of course, this time, the Max Wright's time is, of course, affected by the fact that he came out of the pits. Malcolm is there. We'll see if he's closing the gap or if this gap is getting bigger and bigger.
Well, the second and third sectors on that lap, Malcolm gained a little bit of time, about a 10th in the second sector, so a 10th in the third sector. But on the first sector of this lap, Wright managed to pull away by 1/10 of a second, the gap 2.1 seconds. So yeah, just restoring that gap is Max Wright, and he should be okay to the end of this race, because so far he's been driven pretty faultlessly and has had superb consistency. So too Scott Malcolm, to be fair. But both these guys fully deserve this third and fourth positions out there. And we've got 4.5 minutes to go. And out in the lead, it is still Michael Evdoka leading by 22 seconds. That gap really quite large now, and the triple is very nearly his. Out in the lead in second place is Jamie Ayres, who, despite a couple of slide outs there, still has a 12-second gap over Max Wright in third, with Scott Malcolm pursuing him in fourth. Anthony Jacobson is in fifth, with Con Robinson, who occasionally puts in a really nice lap or two and closes the gap to Jacobson, but then just has a bit of a slide or something and loses some time. Maybe if he can put in some faultless laps to the end of the race, maybe he might be able to get close to Anthony Jacobson, but he is currently 4 seconds off the driver in fifth place.
Yeah, and Max Wright was able to lap just a bit faster than Malcolm, talking about 0.4 of a second. Now, Jamie Ayres. Every time I see his name pops up in red, he has to be careful, because I think those off tracks are bunching up quite quickly besides his name, and we know we have I'm talking about nothing, of course, because there's no incident limit in this race, so sorry about that. And Jamie Ayres, I think, is free to do all the off tracks he wants, because it won't be a problem in the end.
I think there's like some kind of penalty system, but despite doing like 1.5 seasons of this, I don't know what it is. I'm not even sure if there is one, but I think it's like if you get 10 incidents, you get deducted but like a point or something, but I'm not quite sure. It doesn't make a massive difference in the end. Jamie is still going to qualify for the showdown. Of course, the bonus points that Michael Evdoka gets for this meeting will mean that he will go into the showdown with the most amount of points. I'm not fully familiar with this, to be honest, but from what I understand, the points are reset going into the showdown, the final 3 rounds of the championship. But if you get like wins in the normal season in the first 9 rounds, this is one of them. You get like a bonus 5 points or something, and that kind of added onto your total going into the showdown races. So that's going to be a little bit important, and Docker will have a little bit of a head start against the others, and hopefully we'll see a good turn in a week's time for the next round, where we're going to have a fascinating showdown. And yeah, it is going to be really close, isn't it? Because we've got drivers like Labelli and Warmingham and Evdoka. I'd say they're the most competitive 3, Marco, and it's going to be a fascinating battle to see if those 3, and Ayres as well, God, throw him in as well, who's going to win out of those guys.
Yeah, now talking about Wright and Malcolm, previous lap 4/10 gained by Wright over Malcolm. This lap, Malcolm, best lap of his race, 25.6. He gained half a second.
Jacobson,
yeah, and then we have a switch of positions for P5, as Jacobson is going pretty slowly here. Let's see, MG corner, I think, right-hander, no. Oh yeah, definitely yes, Jacobson went wide, and that was easy for Robinson to make the move. So this lap, I should say the previous lap, Malcolm got 0.5 of a second over Wright. This lap 26.0 for Wright, 25.85 for Malcolm. So Malcolm is closing 1.5 seconds, but I fear there might not be enough time. I think that Michael Evdoka is going to get the white flag this time around.
Quite incredible how far further around the circuit Evdoka is. He's nearly 40 seconds clear of those two drivers. So yeah, they will get an extra lap thanks to Evdoka. And you just wonder, I wonder if Jacobson's going to be a little bit low on fuel. And actually, maybe he is, because he's really slow currently, he is Anthony Jacobson. And he's consistently slow. So that pit stop we saw from him earlier, 6.5 seconds, maybe he underfilled ever so slightly, and that's lost him a lot of time, and he's going to end up in 6th position. Gap between P3 and P4, 1.6 seconds. Yeah, Malcolm was 1.5 tenths faster on that last lap. Oh, sorry, they haven't crossed the line yet. Max Wright then sets a 26.17. Scott Malcolm crossed the line. There's a 26.04, and Robinson is into the pits. He's underfueled as well.
And Jacobson is in the grass. I think I see his name in red. Yes, I think maybe contact with the